Chapter 3. The Mission. Aya looked back at what was supposed to be her sister. It had been so long since she had seen her. Back when they were young, they were inseparable, a bit like how Aya and Peg were now. Aya thought to herself, it is funny how time passes. The entropy effect of time doesn't just deteriorate the physical world, but also the mental world. Aya felt this way about her sister. The person stood in front of her was estranged, as much a stranger these days than the perfect resemblance of what a sister ought to be. That being said, Aya felt a spark of love once held between the both of them that seemed to transcend the entropy of time. She held on to this and returned to the now, her sister standing in front of her, all shimmering and glorious, but eternally annoying. Aya said,
"What are you on about? You stroll in on the moon, make some grand entrance, and then the second thing you say is, 'Look what you have done now.' Well, how about you look what you have done, Luo? Big old moon in the sky, scaring all the creatures of this planet at this time of night."
Peg stood there a little bit in shock at Aya's outburst, but was also a little proud of Aya and her assertive nature, against what appeared to be a fairly self-righteous appearance from a sister Aya hadn't seen in years. Luo replied,
"I see your frustration, Aya. I apologize dearly for my absence in your life these many years. I have been on a quest of enlightenment and self-discovery. You see, dear sister, I discovered many years past that I'm only your half-sister. We share the same mother, but I learned that my father was, in fact, the spirit of the moon. I know it sounds ludicrous, but Mother told me that she and him were lovers. When I discovered this, I had to find out for myself if it was true. After many years of searching for the right words to speak to the moon, he finally replied and told me I was his daughter. This was 20 years ago. However, my poor father was eternally lonely. For millennia he searched for some kind of bond, a connection of sorts. That's when he found our mother, and they fell in love. Sadly, when she died 8 years ago, my father's connection died with her. As he withered away, the stability of the moon became volatile. I noticed this in him, so I made a sacrifice. I told Father that if he wanted to be with Mother in the afterlife, then I would take on his burden of being the keeper of the moon. 8 years ago, my father died, not long after Mother, and I became new keeper of the moon. At first I lost a sense of myself. My soul was grieving for my loss, and I felt crushed under the weight of being a celestial spirit. For about 3 years I was in a learning state, not really having a sense of self, but moving through time with an almost automated sense of purpose. Then, slowly but surely, my consciousness began to re-emerge. Memories unfolded, feelings returned, and the role that I had taken on began to make sense. You see, Aya, I no longer just have access to my own memories and knowledge, but I can extend my existence across the entire cosmos, hearing, feeling, and knowing what other beings are doing. At first, it was very hard to cancel out all the noise, but once I realized how to channel my thoughts, it was exhilarating. Believe it or not, since I regained consciousness, I have been keeping an eye on you from above. You and your friend Peg have been on some interesting, if not questionable, excursions over the years. It was clear to me that you didn't need me in your life, given the state I am in, so I let you be. But here I am now, going against all that. So you probably wonder why. Well, Aya, as I said, My mind extends across the cosmos, and I can tell you that what you did this evening in your lab has sent a ripple across the stars and beyond. Even I am not sure of the extent to which your actions have affected the state of our existence. What I do know, though, is that you are going to have to fix it.
Aya stood there, her heart heavy with all the information her sister had just filled her mind with. Peg stood stunned too. Not only had Aya found out her sister's struggle, which explained why she had been absent, but also that Aya, in all her playing around, had caused something on a scale that she could have never imagined. It was a lot to take in for Aya. Aya did something uncharacteristic for her. She grabbed her sister and embraced her in a tight hug. She felt a warmth that she had not felt in nearly 40 years. The connection between two people that knew that they would always be connected no matter how far apart. Luo embraced Aya back, and they stood embraced for a while, not saying anything. As the embrace came to a natural end, Aya looked towards Peg. Peg looked back and nodded a knowing nod of respect. Peg said,
"So, Luo, pleasure to finally meet you. I've heard a lot about you. Only good things, obviously."
Aya looked back at Peg with a hint of cheeky annoyance, due to the fact that Aya never said any nice things about her sister. Peg continued,
"I wonder if we can get on to the matter at hand. Importantly, what in corn's name are we going to do about this calamity?"
Aya let out a big sigh. Seeing Peg in all his crazed, uptight glory made her happy and brought her back to the now, rather than dwelling on all her sister's troubles. Aya said,
Calm down, Peg. I'm sure it's not that bad. Luo is probably just exaggerating the situation. You are exaggerating the situation, right?
Luo looked at Aya, and then Peg, and said,
Unfortunately, I don't have the capacity to exaggerate. What I told you is merely truth. It is quite a predicament you have placed us in.
Aya then realized that her sister was still an annoying self-righteous pimple that got on her nerves. Aya calmed her mood and said,
All right, Luo, you've come all this way to see me, which suggests you have a potential solution for the problem. I can't assume you would waste your time just to reprimand me.
Luo looked on with a knowing glare. She said,
Wise as always, sister. I do have a plan that involves great efforts from you and your friend Peg.
Peg looked around in a sort of, why me way? Luo continued,
But first I must explain what I think you may have done. You see, when you found the Jewel of Epochs, there was a microscopic tremor in the fabric of all things. I have seen that you have been running a lot of experiments from that large ancient book you have in your lab. That book is dangerous. I do not know its origins. They are beyond my sight and knowledge, which is worrying in itself. That aside, you followed the final pages of that book and broke the jewel. My theory is that it was a cage for something that was trapped long ago. Right now, I have little knowledge of what that could be. What I do know is that small creatures have been appearing all across the cosmos, and they are causing chaos everywhere. They follow no logical rhyme or reason and seem to be designed from parts of elements of our physical world. I have some recollection from millennia ago where there is mention of creatures that follow a similar description. They were referred to as Ulpox.
Luo, can you just get on with it?
Yes. In conclusion, my plan involves you traveling to affected worlds where Ulpox are causing havoc. Try to figure out how to contain them, and also seek guidance from other celestial beings.
Other celestial beings?
Yes, there are quite a few of us, who have taken the oath. We all have different responsibilities, and some of us are older than others, which is why I need you to speak to them. They may know how to solve this.
Okay, this sounds kind of fun. So you want me to go find these other celestial beings, get information and catch Olpox somehow? Big problem. How do I get to these other worlds? I don't have a rocket ship. Teleportation spells are unreliable at best. I could end up anywhere.
Luo started rummaging in her tiny satchel. It took longer than it should have, given the size of the bag, but once she found what she was looking for, what emerged was an intricate silver finger-long ring. The ring looked like it weaved round the entire finger. At the tip of the ring finger was a tapered sharp point that looked like it could cut through fine objects, thin and elegant. Luo handed the object to Aya and said,
Handle this with care, Aya. This has been made by the celestial being Yonix. It is some of her finer work, due to the truth that she is quite strange for a celestial being. She can be slightly chaotic. Regardless, please place this ring on your index finger of your right hand.
Aya took the ring gently from her sister and carefully applied it to her right index finger. It fit perfectly, not too tight or too loose. The point on the end of the ring finger lined up exactly at the end of her finger.
Aya, this ring has the power to cut through space. All you have to do is think of a location you would like to go, hold that in your mind, and then, with your ring finger, draw a line in the air from your head to toes. That will cut a portal through space and time. Then, all you need to do is walk through it. Please be careful with this, Aya. You must have a good image of the place you want to visit. It will be difficult, as sometimes you will not know exactly where you need to go. My hope is that you will meet guides through the celestial beings. We can place images of worlds into your mind to help you reach your destination. For now, let me place an image of where I think you should start.
Aya felt a strange sensation as new images entered her mind. It's not like she could see where she was heading, but she had a very strong impression.
Please try and open a portal to the world I have guided you to.
Aya nodded, closed her eyes, holding the impression firmly in her mind. She opened her eyes and raised her finger in front of her. As she lowered her finger, she could feel a slight resistance in the air at the tip of her finger, like it was catching on something. She dragged her finger down to the ground, tearing through the very fabric of physical space. It was hard to see the portal. It didn't glow or have any magical properties that Aya could observe. It just looked like a small tear, a gap in something you could squeeze through. Through the gap, she could see a faint difference in colour. It was opaque and unfeeling. She expected more, but its very presence was still exciting her beyond measure.
Well done, Aya. You seem capable of the task at hand. I have done what I set out to do, and now I must return to my celestial duties. If you ever need me, then keep an eye out for my spirit in the shape of a crystal deer. I will try and be with you when I can, but alas, I am only the spirit of the moon, and I have my limitations.
Aya looked back at her sister and said,
It was good to see you, Luo. Thanks for the ring. I will try and fix what I've done. When this is all over, it will be great to meet again. Maybe we can do an experiment in the lab like the old times.
I would like that very much, Aya. Take care and remember to be careful. There is something more to this problem than meets the eye.
And with a flash of light, Luo turned into sparkling dust. The staircase to the moon disintegrated, and the moon resumed its normal, rightful place in the sky. Aya let out another sigh. and looked at the tear in space she had just created. It looked like it was slowly healing, so she didn't have a lot of time. Aya looked at Peg and said,
Are you ready for this, Peg?
Hold up, Aya. If we are going on a long trip, I need to pack some corn and some hats. We don't know what sort of occasion might call for a different hat, do we now?
Aya looked at Peg and grinned. She then proceeded to walk through the tear in space with no hesitation at all. Peg, shocked, shouted out,
Hold up, Aya!
Peg followed Aya through the tear with haste. As he passed through, the tear sealed up, and all was silent once more.